Hello friends, welcome back to Stan's Cutlery Universe. And today, you're going with me as I have to go run some errands. Just busy this morning. Kind of my own fault. You know, I kind of do that to myself. I won't do like a lot all week. And then I have a dump it all on a Friday, which I guess in one way is good because then you go into town, you take care of everything in one shot. But in another way, it's bad because then, you know, Friday gets there and you have to run all over Hell's Half Acre. The only good thing is today, my wife's up in the UP, Upper Peninsula, for those of you that don't live here in Michigan, and she's working, so, you know, it's just maybe having some extra stuff to do today is kind of good for me. I don't know. Might not be, might be. But, you know, it gets me out of the house if nothing else. So, yeah, I got to go pay a couple bills. Could do them online, but I figure I'm going into town anyways. Man, the wind is strong today. It is pushing me all over the place. The Suburban, man, you're getting a strong side wind. It's like a sail, you know, it just pushes you. But I just wanted to come on here and just chat a little bit, you know. There's a lot going on in the community, you know. We got a lot of great people. Some are going through medical concerns and stuff like that. Some are just going through concerns where, you know, changes in life, changes in their status. You know, Randy at over there at Georgia Venture, he's commenting about, you know, he's thinking he might go get a part-time job because, you know, the retirement thing's just not for him. And I understand that, you know, being forced into medical retirement at the age of 50, excuse me, was hard. I actually, thank goodness I had a counselor at the VA that was helping for, you know, other things too that I had going on. But we had some long talks about that because when you're a person that is used to going to work every day, Monday through Friday for sure, maybe more than that, you know, depending if you're getting some overtime or not. And then all of a sudden, after years of doing that, you know, for me it was 21 years at AT&T plus all the years I had before that in the military and, you know, working before that even, you know, since the time I was 15, at least in the summer months when there wasn't school, I've had a full-time job, and even not in the summer months, I still worked as much as legally was allowed to by rules, you know, for school and stuff. And it was hard doing that transition to being at home. Honestly, put me in a bad place mentally. You know, some of it was I was forced to retire, but still, just to all of a sudden not being, you know, before when I'd be off on disability, at least I had the look I was looking forward to. Hey, I get to go back to work. I get to go back to work. Let's get healthy. Let's get healthy. Let's get healthy. You know, and then I'd get to where I could do most of my things, and I'd go back. I'd go back. And then within 6 months, I was out again because, you know, my neck and my body just not going to agree with me and let me do my job. So, you know, that was some huge things. And for about a year, I was really depressed about that. And I know some people would say, well, it's different than when you're retiring. You know, you've decided to retire at this age. Well, yes and no. You know, the thing is, you know, if I would have made it till 62, I would have been with my company for 31 years, you know. It would have been nice at first to be retired because I'd be like, oh, I finally got some time. But then what you find is you have too much time. And what starts happening is your brain starts going, oh, man, I don't feel like I'm accomplishing anything. Oh, you're worthless. You're this. And it's not that you're worthless or anything. It's just you're not used to having that much time to fill. Because, you know, Monday through Friday, you're putting in a 40-hour work week, and people go, you know, a 40-hour work week doesn't seem like really that much when you figure you got 164 hours a week. But it is, because most people have at least a half-hour drive to work and then from work, so that's another hour. So there's 9 hours. Then you have your half-hour to an hour lunch. So there's 9.5 to 10 hours of your day, every day, being gone to work. Then most people that I know that work, at least guys, and most women I know work, when you'd get home, you'd have a few projects you had to pick up, or if you was like me where I had an afternoon shift, my projects would happen in the morning. So, you know, basically from the time I got up, I'd have breakfast, maybe have an hour to watch some news, get myself ready, and then I was gone. So I would leave at like 10 a.m. to be to work by 2, because I worked till, you know, midnight or 10:30 when they shifted it back from 10-hour days to 8-hour days. And then, you know, I'd get home, so, you know, Monday through Friday is totally occupied with work. And, you know, you get to work, even if you're a supervisor, there's somebody that has set what you need to do that day. You know, there is a schedule, there is a, you know, I have to do this. For myself, my supervisor was over 200 miles away, but I still had my list that I had to do, and I had to set it up and do it. And then sometimes there'd be things that just popped up, you know, something broke down or something, but it was something that I could probably fix quickly so I could get it off the list, and I could put one of our vehicles back in service so the guys could, you know, go do their job. Because, you know, our guys without our vehicle, whether they're our cell techs or our, you know, landline guys, which we don't have that much anymore, you can't do your job very well if you can't get to your job. And like most businesses, you know, it got down to where we really didn't have spare vehicles. You know, for when I first started there, oh man, there was all sorts of spare vehicles. You could have like 5-6 vehicles down, and there's somebody able to drive in our vehicle. Well, you know, with cost cutting and trying to trim the bottom line, there really were no spare vehicles. So you'd have people riding together and stuff, and that made the managers mad because their guys aren't as productive. So now their numbers are looking like, you know, so it's just all the way around bad things. But neither here nor there. What my counselor told me is that I had to rethink the way I was looking at things. Instead of looking at it as, man, I feel worthless because I'm not making a paycheck, you know, as far as giving labor for a paycheck. I was still bringing money in. I still am, you know, for my pension and my disabilities and everything like that, and my 401ks. But for lack of better terms, you almost, at least for me, you almost feel guilty because, you know, you are still capable of working. Maybe I couldn't be a mechanic no more, but I could go do something. But then, like my wife says, that's not always true. You know, even today I'm battling a massive headache. You know, she's like, that's not always true. There's days where I wake up and I don't move. I basically sit in my chair with a heating pad on my neck and upper back, you know, and can't feel my hands. I can't, you know, today my hands are tingling real bad. And when that happens, I sometimes struggle with not dropping things, you know. So you have to reevaluate. You have to change your mindset and go, you know, if you were blessed and you made it to your full retirement age, you just have to change that mindset and say, you know what, maybe you don't have as much work as far as work to do, but you're still productive. You're still doing things. You know, you get more work done around your homestead. You're spending more quality time with family, whether it be grandchildren, children, wife, whatever, you know. You're still productive. You're still doing things. Just, it's a different mindset. And for some people, including myself, it's hard to get there. You know, you get so used to 30 plus years of your life. You get up, you put your pants and boots and shirt on, you have something for breakfast, and you head out the door and you go to work Monday through Friday. You know, Saturday and Sunday was the days that you got to do a little bit more around the homestead. If you was really lucky, you probably took Sunday off because, you know, it's supposed to be the Lord's Day, a day of rest. And, you know, you got some stuff done. And, you know, you spent that time with the family and maybe did some light chores, you know, or like if it was raining Saturday or something and you didn't get a chance to mow, maybe you took the opportunity to mow the lawn, you know, because shoot, you're pretty much just riding a mower, or if you got a push mower, you know, it's not that big of a deal just to get it done. And you can do that when you get back from church while your significant other, your spouse or whatever, is getting lunch ready for y'all, you know, and you know, just stuff like that. It's just a total different mindset. And I I know there's some people out there that think it's going to be so great, and they're like, "Oh, I can't wait till I'm retired." I was one of them. I was, until I was forced to retire. We got a semi in front of us that just cannot seem to get going. Dilly-dallied through the circle or roundabouts. Got another roundabout up here. I don't know why we're doing these in northern Michigan, but they're everywhere in here now. And excuse me, a lot of northern Michiganders do not know how to do roundabouts. They're very confused. And then, like, one of the problems we have up here with roundabouts, and I'll go back to what I was talking about, is of all the roundabouts we have, there's no two of them that are alike. And what I mean by that is there's a couple that you can get in because it's 2 lanes coming in. You can get into either lane and go all the way around the roundabout if you wanted to. Then there's others that where, you know, the roundabout, when you're coming from the main road, if you're on the outside lane, you have to either turn to the first right exit or the next exit, which is continuing on the straight road. But because they're all different, some people drive right through that outside lane. I almost got hit the other day because I was assuming people were doing the roundabout right, and I was pulling off the main road, you know, getting ready to take the outside, and they had started from the way out, but they decided that they were going to go around again where they're technically supposed to have exited the roundabout. And we have none of them that are the same. We have one that is like totally confusing. It's like no matter how you get into it, you have to change lanes while you're in the roundabout. And I thought they weren't supposed to be built like that, but I guess I'm wrong. So yeah, but back to the retirement. It is a blessing to have made it your full life to where you are now retirement eligible. And why I say that is you have put in the hard work, you've done what you needed to do for your family, for yourself, and now it's a chance for you to finally be able to wind down. And you know, if you're blessed and you get to live into your mid 80s or 90s, if you're really blessed, you have another 20 to 30 years excuse me, before you're called home to heaven, you know. But when you're so used to working, it is very, very hard to change, to reevaluate, to recalibrate, to whatever you want to call it. And like I said, my counselor is just like, you just have to change what you're telling yourself, you know. Instead of telling yourself, I feel worthless because I'm not doing anything, change it to, hey, I might not have a job anymore, but because I have taken good care of my family and prepared for this, I am now able to enjoy this time and have more time to spend with family and friends and do the things I want. And yeah, it's hard to do that. It is hard. It's hard to it's hard to do the change or rearrange of your brain housing group. But you know, with work and just continuous telling yourself and realizing that it's nothing, you know, you don't want to be that guy that dies working. I actually had a gentleman I worked with that was him. The only reason he retired from work is he got diagnosed with stage 4 stomach or colon cancer. I can't remember, but it was inoperable. And you know, he was 76, worked at the company for 50 some years, okay? And nice enough guy, but I used to jokingly tell him I'd retire before he did, you know, because he is going to die there. He is going to die working for the company. And then it ends up happening. I felt really bad, you know, felt like I damned him kind of, even though I know it's not my fault, you know. But I look at him and all the time he could have had with his family, with his grandchildren, with his children. Even if he would have retired at like 70, you know, he would have had 6 years before it knocked him down. Well, 5 years before it knocked him down. Yeah, you know, I wish he would have. I wish he would have done that. Well, I'm getting close to getting into town here. Oh, I was wondering why they have no parking signs all along the highway here. I remember they're doing some firework contest thing where they have teams from around the world going to be here at our minor league baseball team, the Pit Spitters Park Stadium. tonight, and they didn't want people just parking out on the road, main highway here to watch the fireworks. That makes sense, because I'm looking at all these signs going, why do they have all these portable no parking signs out here? I'm like, that's weird. You know, I know you guys can see it, but I'm just explaining what my brain housing group was doing. But yeah, so believe me, my friends out there that are blessed and eligible and old enough to retire and that have retired or are thinking of retiring, it is a mind shift. It really is a mind shift, and you just got to get your mind put around it right, so that it doesn't, you know, it doesn't bother you so much, you know. And you know, and some people, you know, like my father-in-law, I wish he would have gotten a part-time job after he retired. He retired when he was 55 and died at 60 due to suicide. He had too much time on his hands, and yeah, I think just all that extra time gave him too much time to think about stuff. And even though he had the world, you know, in his hands, he just got to where he felt worthless. So, you know, anybody that gets to that point, if you start feeling anything like that, please get help. There's all sorts of helplines out there. Reach out to me. I will do my best to help, to put you in contact with them, or you know, or do my best just to talk to you about stuff, because life's too precious, you know. And and it's too precious also to just feel that you're not worth something. You know that, and it's all just in your head, because the reality is like I said, you know, if you're blessed to reach the retirement age and you have done, you know, your part, and you put your money in your 401k, your investment accounts, you've paid your bills down decently, you've got your Social Security, you should have that chance to just go, you know, chill out and enjoy, as they call them, your golden years. Which, the older I get, I'm beginning to wonder why they call them your golden years. Is it because you spend so much time in the bathroom peeing, or what is this dumb? People are so dumb. We just had a guy pull out here at a corner, pull out 2 lanes in, and then stop, and then try to figure out how to back up. People, oh, sorry, gotta get a drink. I am always amazed at how dumb people are driving. You know, they just, and then, you know, it's people keeping distances at the stoplights. When I went to driver's ed, I was told at the stoplights, you keep enough distance to where if the car in front of you happened to break down, you could turn your wheels and get away from them. You don't keep enough room for like a tractor trailer to fit between them. And that's why up here anyways, you have a nice stoplight that if people drove correctly, you could get 20, 30 cars through, but instead, because of that, you get lucky if you get 7 cars through. So that's frustrating. But got the postal truck trying to decide what they're going to do. Oh no, it must be somebody turning into Chick-fil-A. Yeah, we got a Chick-fil-A, and I tell you, when they first got here, they had the traffic all backed up and everything. Ugh, it was horrible. Good sandwiches and stuff though, but yeah, I just well, I went down a lot of rabbit holes today, haven't I? But yeah, if you're out there and you have been blessed to where you've made it to retirement age, do your best to enjoy it. I understand that it is difficult, and I understand that, you know, my father-in-law went through it. I've had friends go through it, because it's funny, most of my friends are older than I am, because I was the last child in the family, like I said, and my oldest brothers would have been 2 months older than my father-in-law. They've both since passed, you know. I tend to gravitate more towards older people as far as hanging out and stuff. I think it's because you know, even though I'm younger, I was raised by older parents, and yeah. So I've had a lot of friends retire, and I've had a lot of friends that it's messed with them, seriously messed with them mentally. And it's sad to see it happen. In fact, even my friends that I've seen retire, they're like, I am so glad I'm retired. I'm done with this crap. It seems like almost every retiree I know gets to the somewhere around the 3 to 6 month mark, and all of a sudden, all their to-do list that they had to do that in their brain for their house, their home, and their homestead and stuff was going to take them years to get done. All of a sudden, because they had so much time, because on their hands from being retired, all of a sudden now they are the list is done, other than just the normal maintenance stuff. And now they're confused because like they don't know what to do, because they had basically turned their to-do list into their job. You know, they'd still get up every morning. If they started at 8 o'clock, they'd be out there in their field or the yard or whatever at 8 o'clock. And just like clockwork, you know, if they had their lunch usually around noon or 1, whatever time it normally was, guess what they'd go do? And then oh, it's 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever quitting time was, guess what they did? And so, you know, they're putting 40 plus hours a week in on their homestead, and they didn't realize how quickly things were going to get done, and it messes with them, you know. And then they go through that, man, I should get a part-time job, or all of a sudden they feel worthless, and you're not worthless, people. You know, retirement's a great thing. It's just, it's hard, you know, it's hard. And if you happen to be somebody like myself that was forced in retirement, it's even harder. But it is what it is. Best of luck to anybody that's been blessed enough to be able to retire. You know, for some people, a part-time job is a perfect thing. I have a friend that he's had a part-time job since he retired when he's out 6 months. After, at 63, he's out a year. He went back at a part-time job at a little hardware store. He puts in like 15 to 20 hours a week, and he loves it. It's the best thing that ever happened for him. And I'm so glad he is able to do it, because for him, it was exactly what he needed. He would have drove himself bat crap crazy if he wouldn't have done it. And he would have drove his wife bat crap crazy too. So sometimes it's what you got to do. But to all my friends out there, thank you so much for watching. To those of you that are still working and younger, be grateful you have a job. Be grateful you get to do this for yourself and for your family. Because believe it or not, there's going to come a day where you retire and you're going to be like, oh man, I don't know what to do now. With that being said, I love y'all so much. Thanks for watching. Live long, prosper, and collect your own way.